Hey guys, John Conley from UncleJohnSoap.com. This is a video just for the Facebook wet shave groups, and only for a few of them at that. There's been a lot of drama the last couple of days, and I kind of wanted to throw my input in there. And I'm doing this from a place where I want to try to be helpful. So, Rich Hansen was trying to do some raffles to help another wet shaver from Texas, a guy named Max, trying to do a great thing. And Rich is always trying to do good things for people. He's always trying to help and promote and things like that, and I can appreciate that. Things started looking a little funky and a little weird from my perspective, and this is before I even saw any of the other stuff. A few days ago, when Max posted in a couple different group pages ahead of Rich saying, you know, kind of promoting Rich going live. And when somebody that's the recipient of gifts or whatever starts self-promoting and being their own cheerleader, it gets a little weird for me. He hasn't shown much humility, and I'm not trying to judge, I'm just saying it just seems a little off. So there was that. He started promoting and you know, really pushing for his own cause, and I can appreciate that to a certain extent, I guess. You know, maybe he doesn't know how to handle it, and that's fine. But like I said, a little humility goes a long way. Then people started asking me questions about Max. Did I know Max and everything else? Well, I answered them truthfully. The only way I knew Max was because of two reasons. One, I saw the things that Rich was trying to do pop up. And the other thing was Max was speaking to me about some of my products because I had just released some new scents. And he popped onto the website and made a purchase. Weird thing number two. And it's his money. He can do whatever he wants. Ultimately, I really don't care. But hear me out. So that was just odd, but I put it off. It is what it is. Then I had a couple other people come back and ask me, do you know Max? Did he buy something from you? I heard this and I just was curious if he had purchased something. And I said, yeah. And I mean, I was honest, and it is what it is. Then it got back to Max. Somebody confronted Max with it. And this wasn't even Dean, one of the guys that people seem to be piling on as a bad guy. This was somebody else, and I believe it's another artisan of some sort, or somebody who runs another Facebook group, who actually confronted him and said, hey, listen, man, you know, we're trying to raise all this money for you, and you're spending it on more shave stuff. That's a little odd. His defense was that the money for the shave stuff was a gift from his in-laws, as like a congratulations for getting the job up in Connecticut. That could be. And again, his money, his family's money, they can do whatever they want. My perspective, if my family's hurting and I'm hurting and I got to travel, you know, halfway across the country to get work, and I had to sell family heirlooms to help pay rent and things like that, I damn sure wouldn't be running out buying shave soap. If my in-laws offered me a little money and say, hey, congrats on your new job, you know what? Hey, thanks for the money. I could use the gas to get up to Connecticut. Or my wife could use it for my kid to help, you know, with a couple meals while I'm out of town. Something. That just seems odd to me. And you may disagree with me, and I'm not trying to bash the guy, but like Rich said, I think that's definitely poor judgment. There's a bunch of us out here that bust our butts every day working, just like I'm sure he did when he was working, to provide for our families. I also bust my butt a little further to try to make good product for my customers and to help my business go. I'm driving around a 1999 Ford Expedition with almost 300,000 miles on it, and it's a miracle of miracles every time it starts and gets me to Berlin, which is about a 32-mile drive for me one way from my house. So I understand what it's like to not have a whole bunch of expendable income. I also know that before I go out and buy some fancy schmancy thing, I need a better vehicle. And if things are tight, for a couple months, I'm not going to go buy the latest, greatest beard stuff, shave stuff, whatever, before I've made sure that my kids have clothes, shoes, food, rent's paid, electric's paid, screw cable can get shut off for all I care, whatever. You don't go buy a new phone. These are all judgment calls, and we should all be old enough and mature enough to be able to handle that. That's my take on it. I don't know if Max was trying to scam. Don't know. Honestly, I don't care, because even the lapse in judgment was enough for me to not contribute. Another thing, Dean came from a place where he was trying to also protect the community, and so that's why he and Dean and Rich kind of butted heads. Max tends to speak his mind, and some people might find that a little abrasive, but you got to appreciate a guy that comes from a place where he's trying to speak the truth. If you ignore it and kind of do a dance around politically, he's going to call you on it. He's called me on it. So Rich, it's not personal. None of this is personal with any of this. And like you said, we do need to move on. But I also want people that are starting to kind of get a little edgy with Dean to realize what really happened. And, this other person, and I'm not going to mention her name because I didn't talk to them ahead of time about this, but when they went and questioned Max about it, they asked, well, why did you ask John to set aside another shave soap and splash set for you to purchase on your way to Connecticut later this week? And he outright lied to the guy that asked him. Max said, oh, I never intended to purchase that. I was just being polite. I have the messages to prove that he wanted me to set aside the new vanilla shave soap and aftershave for him to purchase on Friday when he's passing through this area on his way north. I didn't care. Again, it's not my money. Whatever. And he probably won't buy from me now, but that's fine. I'd rather lose a sale than have all this bouncing back and forth and people questioning what's going on. When you give to a cause, and like Christopher P. said, you try to do it. Is it charity or is it business? And I understand what he's saying. For me, as a business owner, I do both. I'm going to give on both accounts. There are some places I give that I never talk about. Nobody knows. That's between me, that organization, and my maker. Okay? There are some times when that organization will promote me, not of my asking, they just do it. And there's been times that I've asked them to kind of keep it quiet. I just want to do it for the sake of doing it. And yes, there are times that I turn it into business, and I will put a blurb on Facebook that, hey, we donated a case of soap to this cause or that cause. So I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But if I'm donating to a cause and they're doing stupid things with that donation, that's their call, but it's also my call to call them out on it. And I say call a lot then. Anyway, it's my duty and my right to call them out on it. Say, listen, that's not smart. And it's also my duty and my responsibility to not help perpetuate bad decisions. I'm not going to keep giving to something where people are doing stupid things with it. Would you hand a $20 bill to a drunk who is homeless, who needs food, but will turn around and spend that $20 on nothing but booze? I think that's dumb. I'll take him hand in hand into the grocery store and buy him food, into a fast food restaurant and buy them food. I will bring them food. I will make them food. I will help pay for a night in a motel to get warm and get a nice shower and, at least have one night to be able to relax a little. But to just hand somebody cash that is going to do dumb stuff with it is poor judgment on my part. And I've been in the country, I've been in the city, I've been all over, and I've seen it. And it's just not a smart way to do things. Everybody's different. So, I think before everybody piles on Dean or Rich, I think we just need to, realize that something was hinky with Max. We don't know exactly what it was, but I'm assuming from the posts I've seen that he's sent the money back to everybody that's donated. If you choose to send that money back to him, that's great. So the long and the short of it is, I'm hoping Rich keeps trying to do what he's doing by trying to help people in need. Christopher Peace also said something in the thread during Rich's live video today that it seems a little commercialized. And I can see that sometimes. It seems you get a little leery when you see very hyped up things sometimes, and his heart's in the right place, and I think he's really trying to do good things. So with that being said, I'm hoping that Rich keeps doing what he's doing, but maybe with some input. If he can pull a few people in that he knows will help counterbalance his good nature with maybe, I don't want to name myself necessarily, but I have a little bit of cynicism in me, just enough to help keep me wary of certain things that I start seeing patterns and things like that. But if Rich could find somebody, to help him counterbalance that a little bit so that he can keep his energy up and be, cheery about what he's doing, and maybe have somebody off to the side that's kind of keeping an eye on things from the outside and say, hey, listen, something's going a little weird here. Be careful, whatever. Help him do the research to make sure somebody's not just pulling our leg and, trying to get over on us. Anyway, all right, guys, just my 2 cents on it. I am going to squash it from here on out. Like I said, that set that I set aside for him, it's back on the market. I don't think he's even going to stop by my shop at this point. I haven't said anything derogatory to Max, and I'm trying not to say anything derogatory at this point, except that I think he had a lapse in judgment, and I'm hoping that maybe he'll pull that around. And if you decide to donate to him directly, that's fine. I don't know what the artists that donated products are going to do at this point, or if everybody's just kind of squashing it, calling it even, but that's my take on what I saw and what I know for facts. There are a few facts in there, and then a little bit of opinion. So take it for what it's worth. I'm hoping we can all just, put it behind us and move on with trying to do good things and talk about shade stuff. All right, guys. Have a great afternoon.